And now we're going to introduce the Reverend Janet Childs, and she's going to be singing an opening song and also a prayer. And then she has to leave us this morning because she's going to be going to a funeral of a friend of hers.
Show 'em your badge. Show 'em your name, Chaplain.
Janet,
Huh?
show everybody your badge.
Oh,
Show 'em your badge.
it's just on my shirt.
It just says chaplain.
Yeah, J.
Yeah.
Child's chaplain.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's an authentic, real chaplain.
Well, it's a wonderful program here at Mendocino County with the Sheriff's Department, and they're just trying to include people from all different faith traditions. They're doing a beautiful job.
Oh, wonderful.
I'm just one of many chaplains, but I've been asked to speak at this funeral. So I just thank you all for giving me the wonderful energy, and thank you all as we celebrate. So let's take a nice deep breath and just realize that we are enough. There's nothing we have to do. There's nothing we have to say. We just have to radiate that light that is our individual star in the universe, that brings us home and that lets us know we are whole. Oh, let your star shine, let your power grow, and with every step you take, with every song you make, let your star shine. We struggle through the hard times, we open up to love, and we bring home our wholeness. And every moment of every day is filled with this promise in every way. We are whole, we are complete, and we are the light. Every time we open to our inner flame, we shine in this world, and we shine in the universe, and we shine in the hearts of all we meet. And as we call upon our deepest soul, as we call upon our sweet, innocent heart, we are strong, we are whole, we are strong, we are free, we are strong, we are whole, we are strong, we are free. And let your wings fly, 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 let your wings fly, fly, fly. Open up your heart, the wings of your soul, and realize you are a star in the sky. You are a star in the sky. And each and every ancestor that brought us home helps to guide forward the star of our soul.
Thank you. Thank you so very much.
Janet.
That is beautiful. And you have a good day. And sending you our love. And for the gentleman who died, who sounded like a wonderful policeman, a wonderful person to know. Thank you so much for being
Thank
here
you.
for them. Yes.
Love to you all.
Thank
Love
you.
right back at you.
You be careful now.
Yes.
Have a
Yes.
safe trip.
Good.
Well, good morning, everyone.
Yes. Good morning. Today is Flag Day. Ah, so that's why Corky and I have red, white, and blue, and we have flags in the house to remind people. And also, I'd like to remind everybody who's on the broadcast this morning how wonderful you are. You're great. You got up a little bit early on a Sunday morning to attend church, and I'm so glad, so proud of you for doing that. Yippee! And some of you might just have a top on and no bottoms, and that's fine. However you're dressed for your idea of how coming to church. And before I go into my talk today, I want to send our love out to our wonderful Mary Berry. She was taking the train to go back to see her daughter and her granddaughter. And in doing so, she liked to take the train because she could take Franklin with her, her puppy who she would take anywhere. Her support dog. And so they stopped the train. They were changing, adding more cars to it. And she said, oh, she went to get Franklin out from under her seat to take him for a walk, and he had died. And so she was just, oh no, and she called one of the attendants on the train, and the attendant stuffed him in a plastic bag and walked off with him. So she didn't know, she's in such grief over losing that animal that was so important
her
to
support
her.
animal.
Yes, it was a heavy support animal. And I don't know what else they could have done, because it was just a short stop to get another train, another car. And so, but please think of her today and put her in your prayers. Mary is just such a delightful person, and we love her so. So if she's tuning in, know that we're thinking about you today, Mary. And any of the other people here who have pets, just take a day to recognize them and be glad they're in your life. Okay? Yeah.
Yeah, so Mary lost her support animal while she was traveling.
Right.
And not lost, I mean, Franklin died, so it's just kind of a sad story.
Yes, it is.
And we love Mary so much.
Yes. Okay. Well, good morning. I have a very small group this morning. We have Joan and Marissa. And Joan, would you like to read a card for us?
I would love to. And I am sorry to hear about Mary Berry's travel. I'm just returning from a week in the Eastern Sierras at 7,000 foot elevation with clear blue skies, beautiful white clouds, and soft breezes. And we had a wonderful time. I want to remind you that next Sunday, the first day of summer, yay!
Yes, solstice.
We're meeting at Panera from 1 till about 2:30 just to share ideas and do practice reading, whatever you feel like sharing, and we look forward to having you there. They have low-priced refreshments that you can buy and good drinks that you can buy for yourself. But we have a nice group that meets there, and we have a good time.
And it's nice to see people face
In
to face.
person, yes.
And we get to hug and
Yay.
get to whisper good luck and everybody's here.
Wonderful benefits.
So today I'm reading from Spirit Junkie, which is a little different card deck than I usually do. But I picked that up, and here is the message for the day. I honor myself by asking for what I want.
What a
And
concept, yeah.
be strong and figure out what you want, and then figure out a way to get it. Because once you make a clear statement, Spirit gives you ideas to follow. A lot of times it's not a direct path, maybe it's a hint, maybe it's just an idea that blossoms. But to honor myself by asking for what I want.
Oh,
Yay.
wonderful. That's a great, great card. Thank you so much, Joan, for doing that. And congratulations on getting away up to the Sierras. That sounds like a good trip. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Well, I'm going to be talking about Flag Day. And also Juneteenth. So Flag Day is June 14th, Juneteenth is June 19th. At first glance, they seem unrelated. One celebration is a flag, the other celebration freedom. One is about a symbol, the other is about a promise. Yet when we look more deeply, we discover they are connected in a philosophical way. One asks us what America hopes to be. The other asks us whether America has lived up to that hope. Everybody's talking about America these days. And that's why I'm wearing a red, white, and blue necklace. I want you to think about the flag and what it means. I would like to share some history, some surprising facts, and perhaps a different way of looking at both holidays. Because whether we are patriotic, skeptical, spiritual, political, or completely tired of politics, these two observances have something important to teach us. The strange story of Flag Day. Most Americans know there is a Flag Day, but few know why. Even fewer know it is not a federal holiday, which means you don't get the day off, no big sales, no fireworks or giant family gatherings. Flag Day is like the quiet cousin of Independence Day. It simply appears every June 14th and says, "Hello, remember me?" June 14th marks a day in 1777 when the Continental Congress approved the first official American flag. Interestingly, nobody knows exactly what that first flag looked like. The familiar story is that Betsy Ross sewed it. The truth is that historians aren't completely sure. America may be the only nation that argues over its flag's origin and still turns it into a national tradition. The flag itself has changed many times. There have been 27 official versions. Every time a new state joined the Union, a star was added. I think we all remember, I do, Alaska and Hawaii for sure being added. At one point, people weren't sure where all the stars should go. Designs looked like circles, rows, and patterns. The current 50-star design was actually created by a 17-year-old high school student named Robert Heft in 1958 as a school project. His teacher gave him a B-. Later, when his design became the official flag of the United States, his teacher changed his grade to an A. Imagine that conversation. "Mr. Heft, I've reviewed your product. It appears the entire nation has adopted it. I may have degraded you too harshly." A flag is a fascinating thing. It is just cloth. That's all. Fabric and dye. Yet people salute it, fight under it, protect it, display it. Why? Why do they do all those things? because human beings give meaning to symbols. So that's what I have here. Red, white, and blue, and a flag. I'm giving you a way to look at what I'm talking about. A wedding ring is just metal. A graduation diploma is just paper. A photograph is just ink. Yet they represent something larger. The flag represents an idea, not a perfect nation or a perfect government or perfect people. It represents an idea, the idea that human beings can govern themselves and all people possess a dignity. And most of all, liberty matters. Whether America's always achieved these ideals is another question. And that brings us to Juneteenth, the day freedom finally arrived. Many Americans are surprised to learn that Juneteenth is actually older than Flag Day as a public celebration. Juneteenth commemorates June 19, 1865. The Civil War had effectively ended. The Emancipation Proclamation had been issued more than 2 years earlier. Slavery was legally ending. However, in Texas and other states, thousands of enslaved people had not been informed that freedom had been declared. Many people never received the news. Then Union General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas. His announcement informed enslaved people that they were free. For many families, June 19th became Independence Day, not 1776, 1865. Their freedom arrived on that day. That celebration became known as Juneteenth. Generation after generation remembered. Families gathered, stories were told, songs were sung, food was shared, communities celebrated the arrival of liberty. And for me, I'd heard of it. I didn't know what Juneteenth meant until I looked it up. There's a spiritual lesson hidden in Juneteenth. The people were already legally free, yet many did not know about it. Think about that. How many of us are walking around with freedoms we don't realize we possess? Freedom from old guilt, fears, labels, childhood wounds, and opinions of others. We wander around with these hidden things in ourselves. Sometimes we remain imprisoned by thoughts long after the doors have been opened. Juneteenth reminds us that freedom is not merely acknowledgement. It must be discovered, understood, and lived. A spiritual teacher might say, the chains can be removed, but liberation begins when the mind realizes they are gone. I want to repeat that. The chains can be removed, but liberation begins when the mind realizes they are gone. Think about that. Think about things that are holding you back. Think about things, the change you put on yourself. I have so many people that come to see me, and they're afraid to move. They're afraid to look for a new job. They're afraid to look for a new mate. They're afraid to move to another city. They've got bindings all around them of fear.
They're afraid to ask for what they want.
Right, exactly. But the chains can be removed. But liberation begins when the mind realizes they are gone. I've seen that in so many people that I do readings on, and I tell them what's going to happen, and they say, oh, that won't happen to me. And I said, it will, if you let go of those chains that bind you. That's what you have to do. Find the freedom that you've always wanted. What the flag and Juneteenth teach together. Let's bring these two observances together. Flag Day asks, what are America's ideals? Juneteenth asks, are those ideals reaching everyone? Flag Day celebrates the promise. Juneteenth celebrates progress total to fulfilling that promise. One is about liberty as an idea, the other is about liberty becoming real. Together they tell a powerful story. Sometimes people argue about American history. One side says America is wonderful, another says America has made serious mistakes. Both are correct. Human beings are capable of greatness and error. Every one of us is. You are thinking about something you want to do, but you're afraid to. Or you think, oh no, what happens if that goes wrong? Nations are no different. A mature spiritual perspective can hold both truths at once. Mm-hmm. We can appreciate progress while recognizing unfinished work. You might want to move. You might be thinking, I've got to get out of here. I've got to get out of here. I've got to get out of here. But you're seeking greater freedom, but you're not taking the first step. Whatever you want to do, start taking the steps for it to happen. We can honor achievements while learning from failures. Things are not always going to be perfect. That is not a weakness, that is wisdom. Sometimes when you go to the store, something as easy as you forget to buy milk. And you have the reason you want to go to the store that day is to buy milk, and you come home without it. Mm-hmm. Well, you don't have to say, oh, I'm stupid, I never remember anything. Just go back to the store. That's the way we can do everything.
It's called learning by doing.
Learning by doing, yes. Have you noticed every generation thinks the country is falling apart? Every generation. In the 1800s, people worried civilization was collapsing. Again in the 1900s and in 2000. Apparently civilization has been collapsing successfully for several hundred years.
Yeah.
And just think of what people are saying about now. Oh no, our country is going down the toilet.
But
oh no, our country is going bad. Oh no. Don't do that to yourself. Say, what can I do to improve my part of the country? Because what you do is very important. Because somehow humanity keeps showing up. Children are born, people fall in love, neighbors help neighbors, communities gather, life continues. History teaches us that. And progress often arrives slowly, unevenly, imperfectly, but it arrives. Juneteenth is proof of that. Freedom is more than independence. Here's another lesson. Freedom is not merely doing whatever we want. A teenager may think freedom means no rules. An adult eventually discovers freedom means responsibility. Spiritual freedom is similar. It is the ability to choose wisely. Whatever you choose in your spiritual growth, do it with a conscious thought. Is this going to help me? Not, oh boy, I want to put on my patent leather shoes and tap dance to church. That's fun to do, but are you gathering the spirituality? Freedom is the ability to respond with love rather than fear, and to have the ability to act according to conscience. Freedom is not simply I can. It is also I should. I should look at the United States as a place of freedom. Start choosing positive things, like the flag within us. What if the flag is not merely something outside us, but an invisible flag that each person carries inside. I have a flag sitting next to me on my chair. This is to remind me I'm an American. This is something that I have in my house that says to anybody who comes in, I'm an American, and I'm proud of it. It's not merely something outside us, but an invisible flag that each person carries inside you. Look at it and say, I carry that inside me. It's a banner representing our highest values. It represents compassion, kindness, integrity, courage, forgiveness, and service. When people meet us, what flag do they see flying? Do they encounter judgment or acceptance? Isn't that great if you know that a flag says that you represent a lot of things in this world? Fear or love, anger or understanding. Perhaps the most important flag is the one we raise through our actions every day. Think about what you want to do to let people know you're proud to be an American. The Juneteenth inside us. Likewise, each of us experiences our own Juneteenth. Moments when we awaken and realize we're no longer bound by fear, prejudice, regret, limitation, or a painful story. You could be somebody that's not receiving checks from the government. You could be somebody who served in the service and feel like you're treated very badly. You could have a hatred against the United States. But the spiritual journey contains many Juneteenths. Moments when the soul hears the announcement, you are free. Free to grow, free to become, free to forgive, free to love. All of those things are given to you in the United States. They're not given to a lot of other countries. But think of it. Free to grow, free to forgive, free to become, free to love.
There's a book that I discovered recently. It's an old book called The Power of Decision. And that was one of the early books in New Thought in the 70s. This whole new idea that we could change our lives by simply thinking differently.
Right.
But the power of decision. How do I choose to live in America? How do I choose to live in my life on a daily basis? Do I choose to be kind? Do I choose to be inclusive? Do I choose to be adventurous? That's one of my choices.
Yes, one more time. Free to grow, free to forgive, free to become, and free to love.
That's right.
Imagine two people standing before a closed gate. One person believes it is locked, the other checks and discovers it's open. The gate was never the problem. The belief was. Mm-hmm. Your belief in life says a lot about who you are. Many spiritual teachings tell us something similar. The awareness that we live forever is always there. The Creator's love and presence is already here. The gate may be open. The question is whether we are willing to walk through it. Juneteenth reminds us that sometimes freedom arrives before we realize it. I was going to talk about gay pride because June is Pride Month, but I realized it is celebrated all over the world, and it's not celebrated on just one day. It's celebrated the entire month. So I'm going to talk about gay pride on Sunday, June 28th, when what happened in New York, in Stonewall, when the people took over the bar. I'm going to talk about that. But today, I want us to think of the spirituality of being an American. What do you get from living in America? Some people are going to say a lot of trash from the president. Some people are going to say a safe place to be. Some people are going to argue. But think of the things that are related, the things that we like about our country, the people we like in our country, the person you live with, you like them. The people that come to church, you like seeing them. Think about all the things you like about living in the United States. And if you feel you don't like it here, you can always move. Canada is a nice place to live. But I'm just teasing you. I like being an American. I like what it says about me and who I am. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about what you like or what you don't like about being an American. And don't feel bound by fear or prejudice, regret, limitation, or a painful story. Look at it as a nice place to be. And I'd like for everybody to add something to this. Each one of you is an American. Why? Why do you think it's a great place to live? Do you think it's a great place to live because you can live with your family? Do you think it's a great place to live because you get good health benefits? Do you like the spirituality of it? And I'm going to start by calling on one person that I know that's got a feeling about this, and that's Arlene Dean. Arlene, what do you think about being an American? Are you talking?
Okay, I am. I'm talking to myself saying, give me a mo. Give me a mo. So I was hoping you weren't going to call on me because I don't have positive things to say at the moment. I am open to change and I'm open to, I guess, a resurgence of what I think this country started out to be. And I'm just waiting to see the time when we're going to not be sheep and we're all going to be individuals again.
Uh-huh.
And probably that never existed even back then. But throughout my life, there have been numerous times when I felt like our country was closer to that. And that I felt that our country was closer to uniting and to living up to that part of being United States instead of being warring. And right now, I'm just seeing too much division. So I'm having a tough time. I can look outside my window right now and I'm seeing trees. So I like that. Dottie, I could see trees any place I lived that had trees. So it's just not enough for me right now. So that's all I've got to say this morning. Sorry.
Okay, okay.
Love
Well,
you.
thank you so much for sharing with us. I called on Arlene because she has two sons that both were in the service, and they both came back with injuries, mental or physical. And so that's why I chose you, Arlene, because you still believe in the United States, but you wish that it did a lot of things differently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, who else? Annie, do you have anything to say this morning?
I'm not sure. I I like freedom. For the most part, I feel that I'm free to do what I choose. I like that I have the choice to be kind or not be kind. Unfortunately, I'm seeing a lot of non-kindness in the world these days, or in the states these days. But what I do find is that a smile goes a long way. So I do that. I have the freedom to sing. Going to sing at a concert today. And we won't be singing. We don't have to sing religious songs. We don't have to sing anything. We're singing about positive stuff, about seeing good in the world, about seeing war end. And we're ending with Bridge Over Troubled Waters.
Oh,
So,
wonderful.
yeah, so I believe in that. Thank you for that. So,
Yes. Well, you also, the two women I called on are very spiritual. You've got a high degree of spirituality. And that's what I wanted to share with other people, is that you believe in yourself. Both of you are women who believe in yourself. And that is a wonderful thing to have. That's the best spirituality you can go with, is that belief in yourself. Now I'm going to call on Joyce. How are you this morning, Joyce and Patty?
Ta-da! We were doing technique stuff over here with the computer. 1964, that was just before Christmas, that my mother, the four youngest children, and my father took a Greyhound buses to Santa Barbara, California, to complete the liberation of the entire Brown family from outside of Clarksdale, Mississippi. That was an amazing turning point in our lives. Everything changed. We were no longer just living on someone's plantation, working for them, all of those kinds of things, going to schools that were substandards. Everything changed. And I was very excited when I realized that it was okay for me to be smart. That is to say, to have learned something, to know something, to feel good about myself. And I saw major things happening with the rest of my family, individuals doing things more to be in businesses, starting their own, changing. We did a lot of interesting things we could not have done outside of Clarksdale, Mississippi, owning homes, going to incredible schools, getting that higher education. So for myself, one of the greatest things that ever happened was when the Brown family decided to leave outside of Clarksdale, Mississippi. And I have no intention to ever want to go back. See, I have no good memories about that place in that sense. But as far as a family, my father, whom I adored to this day, wonderful memories I have in that respect. So for me, liberation came when the family decided that everyone was going to go to the same place. It wasn't you go there, you go there. We went in stages and we did the Still Away in the back of the Greyhound bus because that's where we could ride in 1964. And no one would have thought anything of it. They would just say, just Black folks. Well, we were Negroes then. Just that. Actually, we were Negroes. Let's just call it what it is. They would just have said, there's some Negroes back there in the back of the bus. But nobody's going to pay that any attention because we were sitting where no one else could sit that were not us. So my journey opened some amazing gates for me when we came into Santa Barbara, California. The entire Brown family was there, no parts and pieces. And I am very thankful because I get to know y'all. I've met Patty here. All kinds of fun things have happened. And I am very blessed. I feel really good about myself. I feel really good about the decisions that was made by the entire Brown family. There was 12 of us altogether.
Wow.
And all of us did this Still Away. And you can go back and visit someone there if you want to, or whatever you want to do. But there's only two of us surviving now of the siblings, me and my brother. So I have no desire to want to go back to Mississippi. What my brother does, I don't know. He and I seldom talk. But I just wanted to share with you that sometimes the journey may start off quickly, but it is how or what you do once you get to where you're going. What can you do? What can you do for you, for family? And that was the key for me as Joyce C. Brown.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Patty, do you have anything to say?
Thank you. Good morning. Yeah, you know, I really appreciate your talk, and it comes back to acknowledging that we really do have a lot of freedom, and I really really appreciate what Arlene said. I personally have some things that I don't agree with as to the direction that things are going right now, but I also have to take a look at what I have personally, and there is a lot of freedom, and that really came home to me the other day. We have an opportunity to go to Ghana with some friends in 2027, and we started doing research on the country and realized that as a gay couple, we could get into a lot of trouble going there if we didn't do it right. I mean, we can easily pretend like we're friends. We can do that. But when you get a visa, you have to put down legally that if you're married or not and who you're married to. And so it's like, ooh, what do we do here? So it we're still kind of working out that part of it. But it brought it home to me how much freedom we actually have to be us in this relationship. And I'm really grateful for that. You know, I'm really grateful for that. And there are a lot of freedoms that I think we in America don't realize we have. You know, and like I think it was around 2027 or no, I didn't mean to say that. In 207, 206, we went to China a couple of times, and we were in an area that was an incredible poverty. When you have all this really rich people intertwined within it, you know, there was a lot of ignoring of the poverty. And I didn't realize it. We were there for a couple of weeks and didn't realize how good we had it until I came from China, stepped off the plane and drove from the airport home. And I thought, oh my God, we have so much here. We have so much. People are driving around in really wonderful cars. They have so much freedom. Um, yes, we have poverty here, but it's not like we would see where we came from and the pollution and so on and so forth. So I think there's a lot of really good things that we have here. I think it's a struggle right now to keep things the way I'd like to see it kept. But that happens, you know, it happens. Sometimes we need to have something difficult come along so that we can assess our own beliefs and stand up for it. So
Thank you.
that's what I'd like to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much. How wonderful to hear you talk to us. Okay. You better, or I'm going to call on you.
Yeah, I do.
Ruth, okay.
Hi, good morning. There are things that I like, right? Like I love the redwoods here in California. We all have good things in our lives, and I think it's still fair to say that, you know, those things are there while still acknowledging the things that shouldn't be there are also there, because we can't fix a problem if we refuse to see the problems, you know. I don't think there are some things that are going on that I feel like the choices people in power have made um are things that we're not. It's unnecessary suffering, and it's unfair suffering, because everyone's going to suffer, right? That's part of mortality. And I think doing everything we can to reduce suffering so that we can live the dream where equality becomes the defining characteristic of being American, and as a country where we're all treated humanely and fairly is I think a good focus to have, because yeah, there was, but now and also in the past, a lot of inequality. But it's like, if you can't see the country you want, and how you're going to get there. And so I like to say that equality is American, so that we can manifest that into reality.
Good. Sounds
Okay. Well,
wonderful.
thank you, Ruth.
Stephen.
Yes. By the way, everybody who's spoken has really touched me. You've said things that are near and I think are very, very important. And I spent what, 70 years on the planet. 55 or 60 of those years I have been in this country. And you know, uh all the things that we can dream about and stuff, I'm just very grateful for being alive. There's so many times and places in the past where I wouldn't be alive as a gay man. I wouldn't be alive because my theology was wrong. I wouldn't be alive because my ideas were wrong. I wouldn't be alive because I didn't have good drinking water. I wouldn't be alive because I didn't have any health care at all. I'd be dead of rabies or intestinal parasites uh, or working in a coal mine. Just being alive uh, is probably one I'm very, very grateful for. And this is such a beautiful place to be alive in. That
Oh,
was it.
thank
Well,
you
thank
so
you.
much, Stephen. That was wonderful. Thank you so very much. Eileen, you wanted to say something. You have a heart up there.
Hello, good morning,
Hi
everybody.
there. Good morning.
Next month, I'm going back to Singapore to be a keynote speaker at the World Health Women's Conference.
Awesome.
Great.
And to teach Qigong to medical professionals. And at the same time, I'm writing my memoir, my stories of why it is I came to the States, and now I'm going back. So this whole idea of freedom, I partly left because I was mad. Um, I needed to heal, right? So the idea of coming here for the freedom to choose, right, was appealing. And now to go back to teach them what I've learned about the traditional, the
It seems
traditional
ironic.
healing art, which is from there, you know. So what I want to eventually tell them is that in Chinese medicine, arts, the yin and yang now, I look upon that as the difference, not just love and fear, but that it is truth and fear, because truth is the highest level of respect and kindness and therefore freedom. It doesn't mean that you are, right, as Dottie says, that you are free to do as you want, but you do so with responsibility. And ultimately, life is about you have uh, wholeness, right? You have harmony on the one hand, and then you have disharmony on the other hand. And our active practice to stay connected to ourselves, to have faith that it'll work out, is what we do to repair the S part of the yin yang symbol, so that we can therefore become whole. So I think my going back is about that repair and about
Wonderful.
having let that go, let the anger go, and knowing that I can still love that which is not perfect, because my inner soul is perfect, and I just is not. So
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. How
Thank you.
lovely to see you. I haven't been able to see you for a while, so it's nice seeing your smiling face. Thank you so much, Eileen.
Sure.
Okay. Anybody else have anything they'd like to say? How about Corky?
Hmm. Well, now I've lived I've lived in the United States all my life, but I've done some traveling, and it's been. It makes me proud of being. I'm proud of being an American. I'm not particularly proud of some of the things that are happening. Like a lot of you, the decisions that are being made in my behalf, and things that I'm going to be paying for that I wouldn't, I wouldn't choose to do that. But it's still our country, and I'm just we have so much, and we can do better, and we can do more, and I think we all. I don't know. Just pray. Let's make sure we put some energy in this. Anyway, and I like being here.
Yes, we like having you here. Joan, what about you?
Well, recently Netflix had 2 movies that I enjoyed. One was on Teddy Roosevelt, a Republican who was elected and declared that part of the responsibility of government was to take care of its citizens. He established the national park system. He established meat packing inspections, and he did establish some other agencies that helped the people of the country move forward. The next movie I watched was FDR, the Roosevelt in charge of World War II, and he came in as a Democrat, and he looked around at the Depression. He was elected in the midst of the Depression, and he looked around and said, we have to do things to help our people. And he established the CCC, which was getting teams of people to go out and build walls and paint railroad bridges and some other things. He established Social Security, and of course he led us into and through World War II. So we have this idea of helping coming from different sources. I tell people that I had the wisdom to be born in California and the further wisdom to stay here. But I have traveled all over the world, and when people find out I'm from California, they just go, oh. I think most people around the world want to live in the United States, especially in California. Mm-hmm. And I have been in love with California for many, many years. I recently heard that Canada is simplifying its immigration process because they feel that a lot of Americans could move to Canada. I want to tell you that Canada has the same population approximately as California. A few people less than California. So it's a much smaller group of people. But here in the U.S., we have our blessings, and I just got back from a week of sitting in the sunshine in June Lake on a little pontoon boat and just letting the sun float down on me, and I could relax and let Spirit talk to me, and it said, Joan, you're lucky. Be exactly who you are and continue being exactly who you are.
Thank you so much, Joan.
Yay,
well, and you were in Yosemite, which is exactly a place to be when you're trying to find yourself, when you're trying to find out who you truly are, and spiritually get in touch with yourself. Yeah. Marissa, did you have anything to say?
I didn't.
Okay, and are you gonna now? Are you gonna say that we are going to take money from people?
I am, because we need to think of how we can help people individually and as a group. You know, Dottie tells me that people call her in need of rent, call her in need of food, call her in need of help with medicines and doctor's appointments. And that one of the ways that she is able to meet those needs is through our donations. And, you know, we try to live by the basic spiritual principle of all religions, which is be kind to one another, heal the sick, feed the poor, and love one another. And so we adopt that in our church philosophy, in our giving. And please remember that
Thank you.
as we give, we also receive. And I have seen that in action.
I'm zelling to you.
Zell. I've seen that in action so many times where I established a pattern of giving and suddenly established a system of receiving appeared to me. So I invite you and encourage you to experiment with that idea.
Thank you.
We give thanks for these donations today, the ones that come through Zelle, through the mail, and all other sources.
Thank you.
And so it is.
And so it is. Yay! Thank you.
So think about what's happening in the United States that's positive. I think that we have a lot of people dwelling on the negativity, but find something positive. Like you might like the house you live in. You might like the street you live on. You might like the tree that grows outside your kitchen window. Find something that hits you spiritually today, that makes you feel alive and makes you feel glad where you live. So you're not sitting there worrying, thinking about negativity. Get some positive going. It's Juneteenth. It's a time to celebrate being alive. It's a time to celebrate who you are. All of the people I see their pictures at right now, I know you, and I know that each one of you is in love with you. That's what's important, is to love yourself. Then if you've got a little bit of love left over, I'll take it. Okay? It's been great talking to you this morning. Please send our prayers to Mary Barry because she's very, very depressed and she's in Michigan. And take this time to say something to somebody, your neighbor, the mailman, somebody this week that just says, hey, isn't it nice? Celebrating June. June is busting out all over. So you celebrate it, okay? Right. Thank you so much for being here. I love you all. Goodbye.
Good night, everyone. Well, I guess it's a good day, isn't it?
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye, Sam.